Well, hello, you're very welcome to the Irish Independence League of Ireland review, League of Ireland in Europe review, I should say. Dan McDonnell joins me from Prague this evening. I'm here at Tallaght Stadium, where, Dan, it was really a historic night for the League of Ireland with two Irish clubs involved in league phase action the same season for the first time. It was a night to remember for Shelbourne, a positive result, a draw against Hacken, but it was a night to forget for Shamrock Rovers, really a heavy 4-1 defeat to Sparta Prague. Really not the way they would have wanted to begin this campaign.
No, I think it was always going to be tough here in this game. I mean, you could probably argue Rovers are at home to Shakhtar Donetsk, who are very good. They've turned over Aberdeen tonight, but I guess you could argue maybe Sparta Prague away is their next hardest fixture, and maybe the toughest one because it's on the road. 17,000 people here, etc. Proper club. But look, I think Rovers have probably earned the respect to be judged by a higher bar, and it wasn't good enough from them tonight here. I think they'll accept losing to a side like Sparta Prague, but probably losing in the manner that they did. 2 goals from corners, something that had been spoken about beforehand. Really basic error from Pico Lopez for the first goal. They were disciplined for 20-25 minutes. Probably, I think the talking point would be maybe they set out with a team that probably tried to be conservative and cautious. And I mean, they made 4 subs on the hour mark. Watts, Mandreo, Burke, and Michael Noonan. And look, everyone's an expert after a game, but there probably is a sense of, maybe they might have a little bit more control if they had maybe one of those players starting. I'd say Watts or even Burke, but you could see the plan. They did McGovern, Gaffney, Nugent, trying to be physical and to ask questions that way. But you need to do the basics very well when you're doing that, and they didn't. So look, they can't really complain. And I'm almost curious now to hear more about what happened with Shells as much as anything, because I think there's not much more you can say about this from a Rovers perspective. They'll need to do better, and I think they will. But maybe they won't be as conservative in Athens, although that could be in a cup final week. So who knows?
Well, definitely here in Tallaght, it wasn't as eventful as proceedings in Prague. Shells will obviously take the point, like a point. We were saying before the game that the stats gurus are saying 7 points may be enough to proceed to the league phase, and kicking off the campaign with a point on such a historic night for the club. Pressure, the majority of these players haven't played on this occasion before. That's definitely a step in the right direction, and they put it up to Hacken. They had to ride their luck once or twice. A big chance 10 minutes in. Hacken missing a big chance midway through the second half as well, but Hacken really dominated the ball, dominated possession, but just didn't do a whole lot with it when it came to cutting in the final third. Few pot shots from distance, really didn't do a whole lot to trouble Wales' Spiel. Shells were pretty much comfortable for most of it in terms of sitting back, soaking up that pressure. Did hit Hacken on the counter once or twice. Muko Rebecca had a tough night. He had the ball in the back of the net 15 minutes in, was kind of well offside. He had a tough night, but I think Shells had 1 or 2 good chances to find that breakthrough. 2 big chances at the end. James Norris having a late penalty appeal waved away. John Martin giving a moment of worry late on as well. But I think all in all, with all the pressure, all the talk around this game, the club's first game at this stage, they'll definitely take a point, and that's a point in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression maybe the elements were an issue with that game too, and we know Tallaght and those nights can't be too pleasant. But look, I think that's a huge result for Shells. I mean, as you say, 7 points, 7 points at a bad goal difference. I think you can miss out, but 7 points in a respectable one. But that was last year. And I think for Shells, look, we know that they have to get the points on the board early. Going to North Macedonia next to play Skendica, then Drita from Kosovo at home. They have to do something in the first 3 games. Whereas I suppose Rovers is slightly the opposite in a way, and that they need to do something against Celje at home in 2 weeks' time for sure. But then, look, they have some tough ones, and it's in December where they'll be targeting their points. So I think for Shells, for a team never played at that level before, that is a good start. Weirdly, didn't Shamrock Rovers 3 years ago, their first Conference League game in Tallaght, start with a 0-0 draw against the Swedish club? So there you go. Funny how look, Rovers, I mean, going to go and hear from Stephen Bradley now. We'll have that on the website to see if some of his changes were influenced by playing Kerry on Sunday. I think from we sort of moved from here to the cup final mode, Cup semi-final mode, and we'll see if the weather and what happens with Cork City and St. Pat's tomorrow as well.
Well, Dan from Prague and here from Tala, it was a night to remember for Shelbourne, a result to forget for Shamrock Rovers, but will be across the latest reaction to tonight's European action on the Irish Independent.